Hey everybody, and welcome to Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to work on these 5 Parrot Beak. And I've worked on these trees as a group of 5 2 other times. So you can watch those videos. Actually, I'm going to make a playlist so you can just click on the playlist and watch from the beginning. So each of these trees is in a very similar pot. They're very similar size, but they are certainly all unique also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my display a little bit, and then I'm going to work on them and talk about them individually. This first tree is the smallest and possibly the least developed also. So I'm not really sure where I'm going with this tree, to tell you the truth. It doesn't really show itself like, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. And as you know, I'm not married to the fact that either this is the front or that this is the front. And there's a lot of scars down low, which will heal over time. And the more I've been studying this tree, the more I'm thinking that maybe something like this. And there's a tiny, tiny little branch right here that could be the second main branch, first main branch, second main branch, and remove this whole top, so it would end up with just that little tiny second main branch, and then the apex be right here. That would give it movement, it would give it taper, and I think it would give it more visual interest, even with the scar right here. So today, for now, I think this tree is just going to be under study, and we're just going to take a look. I don't see, we could do something like this where we could create a slanting trunk and get rid of all this and have this be the first main branch. That's a possibility. Have a much taller tree, because if we're doing the rule of thirds, that's about 3 inches, so the tree will end up being 9 inches. We could change the angle of the tree. It doesn't have to be flat in the pot like this. When we repot it, we could move it like this. Is there something here that we could do? Same kind of thing. First main branch, second main branch, take this off. So there's all kind of options with this tree. And since I'm not ready to really do any of them, I'm not going to do any of them. So the second tree here is a tree that was very straight, and it's still got a very straight trunk, very angular. Are we even in the frame? There we go. So I'm going to remove some of these leaves just so we can get a better idea of what we're talking about. We do have some growth that has elongated here, so I'm going to I'm going to clip that off. And so where are we with this tree? We got some interesting motion. If this is the first main branch, then I probably need to remove this one completely, like that, and have this as the second main branch, even though in a perfect world I'd promote this tiny, tiny little growth right here to be the second main branch, because it's coming directly out of the outside of the curve. And that could happen because there is growth there. I could continually chop this back and wait for that to elongate. Same here, we need another branch coming out of the outside of this curve, but the growth is there. And it does appear as though the top has died. And so I'm going to take that part off. There's 2 little parts. I'm going to take that piece off there. Okay. It does appear that's dead too. It's shriveled up, and when you scrape the bark with your thumb, you get brown instead of green. Live growth has green cambium. So this, I think, has potential to be an interesting tree, even with the straightness of the trunk. it will probably be a taller tree, especially than the first one I showed you. But I think it has potential. Then we have this tree here, which, if I'm not mistaken, I angled in the pot. You can see the old root ball here, so I angled it up like that. And normally when I angle a tree up like this, I'm looking at some kind of slanting trunk. We've got a branch here that could be the first main branch, bring it up into here. These two little guys are probably both sacrifice branches. And once you get to this stage in a bonsai, sacrifice branches may not really thicken the trunk as profoundly as they would if it was in training and you were really allowing things to really grow. There's some more dead right there. So I think this will make an interesting front. We've got nice movement. A combination of motion and movement. Movement. And something like that in there. So I'm going to leave the sacrifice branches on. And this is another guy that just needs to continue to develop. The fourth tree has, let's see if I can't get the whole thing in here. You don't need to see the pot, right? Has very nice branch structure, but if we turn it this way, you'll see that it's leaning a little too far forward. Of course, I'm going to take the whole pot and everything, but when I repot, I can just do the roots. So we can, the next time I repot, I'll repot it like this. And I really like the way this tree moves. And it has some things that need improvement. This branch here, and I actually have 3 to choose from as the second main branch. It is weak. In fact, if you look at the thickness of this branch, or even the one behind it, it's even a little thinner than this branch way up here. So that needs to be promoted to become thicker. And the way you do that is allow more growth, allow it to grow. So when in the spring, when all the tips of the branches begin to grow, I will cut the ones that I want to keep in bounds, and that's most of the rest of the tree, and then allow one of these, I'm going to choose for the second main branch, to elongate and get thicker, and then it will be in better proportion. Actually, if you look at it, this branch here is also thicker than this branch here. So it may be that this branch needs to be shortened tremendously, and then the new growth will be much thinner. There is a little tuft of growth right here that could replace that branch with a little bit of wire. But I really like the movement to this tree. Definitely needs to be planted more like that. And then the last tree is probably my favorite of this batch. And that is this one here. It has real nice movement. It's similar to the last tree I showed you, but it's a little more developed. It has more depth, what you'd call it. And it moves back and then forward and then this way too. So I really like the way this tree is looking. The main branches are all pretty good proportion, and the trunk has nice taper. And so this is probably my favorite of the 5. But they're all fun to work on. You know, if a tree is not, in that perfect look that I want, doesn't necessarily mean that I still don't like it. It just gives me more room to create a future for that tree. So the future of this tree is pretty much set. Pads, 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 create a little bit more of an apex, a little more pads. It's already got space in between the branches, so this is really just looking very nice. So that's it for this video. 5 Parrot's Beak, and I will continue to feature all 5 of these together so you'll be able to see their concurrent development. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and you'll be able to watch these guys as they continue on their journey. And I also am going to make a playlist of I do believe there's at least 2 more videos featuring these same 5 trees. And in some of those videos I did quite a bit of manipulation on some of them. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.